Did you want a tissue or anything?
No, I was just trying to clear my throat a little bit.
And I'll come in right before and hit the blue bar?
Yeah.
Correct? Okay, very
And
good.
we're doing it a tiny bit earlier than normal because we're making sure that, and I wanna make sure that the GoPro is not in it, so when you take a look at it, can you kind of,
Sure.
you always kind of aim things for me?
I think we're okay.
And it doesn't show, right?
That's correct.
That's all that matters to me. Okay. So ladies, when I start the show, which we have time, we're not gonna be on our phones. We're just gonna not do anything because we're live in this room at that point, so we're not gonna be on our phones, we're not gonna do makeup, because we're all gonna kind of look at what we're doing over here because that camera takes the entire room. You got it. So that's the only reason why. Otherwise, I would let you do whatever. So,
Will you let us know when we're starting?
yeah. When you see what I do, you'll see, so he's gonna be on, you have two, segments, which is 2:15, you're gonna be on 30,
Okay.
right?
Mhm.
And so when he's done at 1:30, that's a hard break. At that hard break, I'm gonna kind of switch everything around. You'll be on, and then when you're done, you're gonna hang tight for me, and you're gonna sit back right there. You'll come on. When you come on with the 15s, there's a quickie right in between, so I don't talk to anybody, I just gotta get you all over there, you come over here, and I will bring you over, I don't want you to fall or anything like that. And then, I turn all the cameras and turn them on and get it all sussed out, and then we go, and then the show is over. It goes pretty fast.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It was
But
fast.
who's gonna be their audience?
You
I was
can
under
if
the
you wanna
pressure. I feel like
stay.
there's an audience.
Chad'll stay, I'm sure, he doesn't usually come in, so I'm sure he would love to stay.
Joking.
Yeah. Now, are you warm or anything? You guys okay?
I'm good.
Good, you okay? And you've never seen me do what I do, so you don't know what I do. You know what I do because you experienced it. I gotta get t-shirts. I experienced the networking here in Arizona show. Made it through. You got time. How are you?
Been good, actually, just busy and thankful that the heat has subsided and gone away,
Thankfully,
right?
yes. But it kind of goes from one day to the next lately. It's like kind of crazy.
I know.
And, I can't even believe that it is mid-November.
I know. The year's gone, in my opinion, because you got the holidays, and once the holidays,
That's it.
it's gone.
Next thing you know, it's gonna be Valentine's Day, right?
Yeah.
I know.
And then fun fact about me is I am 57 and my firstborn child is 8 years old and my next one's 7, so they even keep me busier.
So, a lot of people, I have a client, he just called me up and we were talking about coming back on the show and stuff like that, and he's going, Carol, I just got having a baby. And I'm like, oh my God. He goes, yeah, and I'm like, my first one is not even born yet and he's 47. So this is happening quite often now.
That's right, or
But
you're
if
in
I
our boat,
figured that
if you end up with taking care of the 4-year-old and 1-year-old grandchildren.
Yeah, it can be, yeah. I mean, I figure if Al Pacino can do it,
Yeah. Yeah, he's in his 80s.
when you think about it, it's kind of crazy, right?
Yeah.
But they do keep you busy, huh?
Oh, absolutely.
But that's good busy, that's
Yeah,
good
I love
busy.
it. I mean, I'm a Little League baseball coach at 57.
Awesome. So you have boys and girls, or?
Yeah, well, yeah, my son's first and then my daughter came second, so, yeah.
Well, mine are a little bit older, but not that much. And my ex-husband at the time, when we did it, this was a long time ago, I was 35 when I had my first.
Okay, yeah.
And so that was considered pretty old for that, My father was like, you want to be an old lady? An old, what do you call it, an old maid,
Yeah.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah.
So, but he's 7 years older than me.
Mm-hmm.
So
He's in his
he
40s.
was, at the time,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and,
3, 2, 1.
perfect, we're live. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we started that a little earlier because I've just having some sticky issues.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Somewhere, but we're fine. What do you love about what you do the most?
Honestly, just the interaction with different people that I meet. You know, you meet all different types of people, and just you hear their stories, and you kind of gain some insight and knowledge from other people from just kind of
Are
hearing what
you
they do.
finding that now after the election is over, and I'm not talking politics in any way here, that the hustle and bustle is starting back, people are kind of thinking, I think I know what I want now, or, you know, because I
Absolutely.
think they were holding tight, really tight for a while there.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, people are funny that way because before the election they tense up, right? Everybody is not sure what's going
Right,
to transpire.
and that doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter what side you like.
Exactly,
Exactly, it just happens.
Exactly.
And yeah, so now that everything is kind of settled with that, people are starting to feel a little bit more open and I guess comfortable is the word.
Right, yeah, I mean, I'm so glad that it's, you know, behind us, you know, but, you know, now people I think are ready, they're saying, okay, now I just, whatever it is, doesn't matter, right, but they're letting go from that and now going forward to the new year.
Absolutely,
You know?
and I'm just glad I don't get any more of that text messaging for.
Oh my God, yes. Here we go, ready? Welcome to the show, everyone. You know, I love talking about everybody else, and we always say that, and I love my show, and I do. And the reason why I love my show so much is because of the people that come on, and I thank you for all the listeners that have been listening for the last 17, almost 18 years now of me talking about everybody else on this show, but also for the support and all of that. I'm going to go right in with our first guest, and I do want to say that we are live on Facebook, so I do want to say hi to everybody out there.
Hello.
Like us and follow us. We'll share the show later on. My first guest has been on with me once before. I have with me Michael Rojas, and he is the managing member of Reliant Group Holdings. And I want you to tell everybody, first of all, a little bit about yourself, a little bit about Reliant, and also the fact that you're a fiduciary, I'll say it correctly, and why that's so important.
Okay, well, that was a lot there, Carol, so thank you for having me
Try
on.
it yourself, it's
thank
not
you for having
easy.
me on. Yeah, so a little bit about myself first. I, as you had mentioned, I am a fiduciary, but you know, I have been in Arizona. What I love to say is I've been in Arizona since 1979. So I'm not truly a native, but I've been here a really long time.
You are a native.
And I've been a fiduciary and a financial advisor for about 27 years now, and so have lots of experience in that field. And I'm a graduate of the University of Arizona, so go Wildcats. I know that I'm in Phoenix area, so that probably doesn't sit well with people, but I just like to mention that. And gosh, I have two little ones. I was just mentioning to you earlier. I have an 8-year-old and a 7-year-old at home, and I'm 57 years young, and I love it. So
Now your Reliant is right here in Phoenix, just right down the road practically.
Yes.
And I want you to talk about the law group and what it's all about, okay? And your part of that.
sure. So Reliant Group Holdings is the parent company for 3 other sub-companies. We have Reliant Law Group, Reliant Investment Management, Reliant Estate and Insurance Services. So there's 3 parts to our company, and Reliant Law Group deals in estate planning. So it's people that are looking to solidify their plans for when they transfer assets over to their heirs. We want to simplify that process. And depending on what your needs are, we will sit with you to determine what the best way is to go ahead and make that transfer over. And you don't need to be in your latter years or your more mature years to have an estate plan. People don't realize it, but we all have estates. You know, if you own a home and you have a car and you have a bank account, that's an estate. So you want that to go to the people that you care about. So you don't need to be in your mature years to really start considering those types of things.
Personally, I think that people anywhere from 18 years old on up, because it's not just about your stuff, right?
Correct.
It's about
It could be about also, let's say you have young children. You know, your estate plan should include who would care for them in the event that you're no longer here. So yes, if you're, I would say, I don't know necessarily 18, but maybe 21 to 25 range. If you've got children, yes, you definitely want to consider putting together something so that you can plan for something that could potentially transpire in your life that you weren't expecting.
now you're a fiduciary, and I want them to understand what that means and why that's so important, that when you work with somebody, you really should make sure that they are a fiduciary.
Yeah, a fiduciary means that I have a a legal and ethical responsibility to act in your best interest. So if I'm gonna be a financial advisor, if anyone is looking for a financial advisor, you want to work with a fiduciary. Because they're held to the highest standard in the financial world. So that means that, yes, there's absolutely I guess the best way to explain it is I'm gonna do what you ask me to do, but I'm gonna give you some of my input and recommendations as well.
Besides that, what would you say sets you apart from all of the other different law firms or financial advisors out there?
You know, I think what really sets us apart is truly just our ability to connect with our clients. You know, we really do develop a relationship with them. A lot of clients that I personally have become friends. I get invited to birthday parties and anniversaries and all of those types of fun things. So it really means a lot to me that people don't just look at me as a professional, they look at me as a friend sometimes.
Now, you do complimentary consultations.
Mhm.
Now, I do want to ask something also that's really important. A lot of people have done them, a while back, right?
Sure.
And they need to dust them off and
Mhm.
kind of take them out. And do you do second opinions?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think it's important because, yes, we all have somebody that we've worked with over the years, right? Every one of us has had someone that we've worked with, but it makes sense to have another set of eyes just kind of go through to ensure that, number one, the person that you're working with is acting in your best interest.
Mhm.
And number two, that you're achieving the goals that you've set out to try to strive for.
Now, being that you are a financial advisor, that's what we're going to talk a little bit about today. Okay, the market is kind of nuts. Want to talk a little bit about the market for people now that the election is behind us, everyone. Let's talk about now the market and where we're at and what you kind of think.
Okay, so I'm gonna put it in a block of the last 10 years, let's just say, right? What has the market done in the last 10 years? It's taken off like a rocket, right? The market is, and on any given day, in any given week, is breaking new boundaries, is breaking new highs, is what I'm trying to get at. So we have a market that's really done very, very well over the last 10 years. Now, what do I forecast for the next, 6 months? Let's just say I can tell you, I think that we'll see a little bit of volatility. I think we'll see some negativity in the markets, but nothing to a drastic extent. That's my opinion, that I think, quite honestly, I think we'll see a 15% or less correction in the markets. Nothing to be concerned about, but you should be aware of it. That's what I'm getting at. You should be aware. Be aware of where you're at with your financial portfolio so that nothing transpires that's unexpected.
Now, they do free consultations. Their phone number is 602-325-8447. They're located right here in Phoenix, but you can help anyone from anywhere.
Absolutely. We're statewide. We're willing to help with anyone that's located in the state of Arizona, and we're soon looking to even be in Utah.
You're branching out?
Yeah, we're
Wow,
starting
that's
to consider
exciting.
Utah as well.
Wow. Well, I want to talk about their portfolios, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of take a look at them and you talk to them and then you have how often should they look at those and kind of revamp them or relook at them to make sure that everything's okay?
Well, I like to have conversations quarterly with my clients, okay? That doesn't necessarily mean in office. I would say you should have 3 conversations throughout the year, quarterly with your clients, and once a year, an annual face-to-face visit. That's what I set out for.
And I tell you something right now, if your financial advisor isn't talking to you that much, run.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, really, you want to make sure that you have somebody that is on top of it. I've seen people who they don't, and they think everything's fine, especially when they don't get a call. No news is good news, but it could be the complete opposite, correct?
You always want to be proactive instead of reactive, right? That's the way I look at it. If you're ahead of things, if you're constantly meeting with your advisor, you're having these conversations, you're going to be ahead of the curve. And it often bothers me when I hear people say, I love my advisor because he's done so well the last 10 years ago. Well, everybody's done well the last 10 years. You could put a wall up of sticky notes, close your eyes with different investments written on those sticky notes, throw in a dart, and you would have made money. So the market's done well. It's the times that may be a little bit controversial or we may see a little bit of a correction. That's where you really need to start measuring your advisor and how he's doing for you. He needs to be tactically managing.
Absolutely. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about 401ks and IRAs and all of that, but we're going to go to a break. When we come back, I want to talk about some of those things. But I also want people to understand that there's a difference between the 401ks and the IRAs and all
Yeah.
of that. So we're gonna kind of go narrow and deep on all that when we get back. And the best thing to do, especially is right now, is have somebody, first of all, who is a fiduciary, but also who is going to be talking to you quarterly and making sure. The only way that you can find out when you're working something like this is to have that consultation, because it has to be that right fit for both of you. And you will find that out when you talk to him. His phone number is 602-325-8447. You can check them out on their website. It's reliant-gh.com. Hang tight, we'll be back in just a minute. Now, we're still live in the room because we are live on Facebook, okay? So we're gonna keep on going in here a little bit. And just out of curiosity, what is the difference between a 401k and an IRA?
Well, Carol, a 401k and an IRA, they both are considered qualified funds, okay? Qualified funds just simply means that it's money that's not yet been tax deferred. But the 401k is an employer-sponsored plan. So those are usually set up when when you're doing your onboarding paperwork with a new company and they're asking if you want to contribute to the 401k. And that's a voluntary contribution. You don't have to contribute to that, but it is voluntary through your employer. I recommend that, yes, especially if that employer is going to be matching up to a certain percentage, you absolutely need to be putting money in that's at least to the match, the bare minimum. I would actually prefer to see that person doing though probably 10%. If you can do 10%, I think that's you're doing well for yourself for retirement purposes. Now, having said that, an IRA, a traditional IRA, is the same thing. It's money that's going tax deferred, so you won't pay taxes on it until you start to withdraw from it. And both accounts, they're both for retirement purposes, so there will be penalties if you try to withdraw from it prior to being age 59 and a half, on either account. So, but the traditional IRA is just something that you would set up on your own, where you can contribute to as well. Currently it's $8,000 a year, that just went up from $7,000, so you can contribute $8,000 a year to a traditional IRA. It'll go tax deferred for your retirement, and then those are usually the landing places for 401ks when we leave or no longer employed at that.
Not everybody has them anymore though.
Well, I should say, I think what you're referring to are pensions. Pensions is where
Pensions, that's right.
those are going away. 401ks are
They're
still
around?
very, oh yes,
Okay,
very much
okay,
active.
okay. Yes, pension, that's what I meant. So pensions are not around as much.
Pensions are not around. Those are usually set aside typically for people that are working for the federal government, or I should say municipalities,
Right.
even, and even our educators, they have pensions as
Yeah.
well. So.
And what's really important though is people understands what to do with them, because it's all about how much money they gotta pay to the tax guy, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So, and I wanna talk a little bit about that when we get back on, because I really feel that that's very important. I don't think they realize that they can get themselves in trouble, right? Also, when do I take my Social Security? That's also affected with all of your taxes as well. So I wanna talk about some of that too, if that's okay with you.
Absolutely.
If we can get to that. So welcome back, everyone. We are talking with Michael Rojas, and he's the managing member of Reliant Group Holdings. And we're talking a little bit about 401ks and IRAs and what's the difference of those. But I also, we were talking a little bit about taxes and why it's so important that have somebody that you could talk to them about where to put all of this stuff right now and what's right, what kind of IRA is a good one. And I don't know if there's a good one for one specific person. It's probably different for everyone.
Yeah, it's different for everybody, and that's correct, Carol. So, first let me say that I'm not an accountant, so I gotta definitely put that disclosure out there. But yes, when you're talking about taxes, we all are trying to, do the best we can with what we have that we earn, right? We don't want to necessarily give more to the federal government than
Nobody
we have
wants to pay the IRS.
That's true. So, if you're looking for, I guess, some places to put retirement assets, and you can afford to open up and establish a Roth account, that type of account grows tax-free. So what people don't realize is as you're putting money in there, that's after-tax dollars, but whatever you're contributing, if you contribute $5,000 into a Roth IRA this year and continue to do that for the next 5 years, you put $25,000 in there, right? But let's just say that account grew to $100,000. You're not taxed on that $75,000 of gain there. So that's one way that you can assist yourself for your retirement future, that Uncle Sam does not put his hands in your pocket, so.
Well, you know, the thing is it's so important to have a consultation with somebody who's been, first of all, you've been doing this for like 27 years, I have it down here, right? And so you have a little bit of experience behind your belt. And it's somebody that can talk to you and help you, whether, you know, there's a lot of people out there that, let's say you've been married and now you're divorced, right?
Mhm.
And now you have to take care of all of this stuff on your own. I'm sure you find that a lot where now, okay, what do I do, kind of thing.
Of course,
right?
yes,
Now, you can call him direct. Their phone number is 602-325-8447. Their website is reliant-gh.com. They do complimentary consultations. They're located right here in Phoenix, but he can help anybody. I believe it's nationwide that you can help. Is it nationwide or just statewide?
Wherever we are licensed
We're
at, so
up
yes,
to all
wherever
of-
we are licensed,
And now
yes.
they're even thinking about getting into Utah now.
That's right, absolutely.
So I want to talk a little bit about, you know, how somebody could even consider doing maybe a conversion,
Okay.
okay?
Okay, so a conversion, what it refers to is, a lot of our retirement assets are in either 401ks or traditional IRAs. Now, when you talk about a conversion, you're talking about taking that money and the tax status of it, meaning tax deferred, and converting that into a Roth account where you will pay the tax on whatever you convert to that Roth, because that's after tax dollars, remember? And now it can grow tax-free for your retirement. Now, what you have to consider is, if you're gonna do a conversion, whatever you convert, and let's say you wanna convert $100,000 of your traditional IRA money into a Roth, that's countable income, that's countable towards your tax return this year. So if you normally make $75,000 through your employer, now the federal government looks at it as if you made $175,000. So that may affect your tax bracket.
Oh, yeah.
So you just wanna make sure that you're comfortable, if it's going to affect your tax bracket to a great extent, that you realize that not only will you pay that percentage on the converted amount, but it's also gonna affect that percentage on your earned income as well. So maybe it's where you would wanna maybe ladder less or put less out there so that you don't get into that higher tax bracket.
So right now, we're talking about being at the end of the year almost.
Mhm.
Oh, my goodness, can you
That's
believe
right.
that?
Mhm.
How fast it's gone? And how long do they have to be able to do that, to, let's say, take advantage of that before the end of this year?
Yes, well, that's just exactly right. You have until December 31st to go
So
ahead.
you,
Yes.
but so, you know, have somebody and talk to them and see if they can do that, because, you know, especially with this new year coming up,
Mhm.
could be a lot of different laws, am I correct?
Well, one thing that the federal government's been throwing around for a while now, and it's not been decided, but they're thinking about reducing the federal estate tax exemption. So that is currently just under $14 million, where someone could have that size of an estate, and there will be no, what I like to say, quote-unquote, death tax. That's what people like to refer it to, but it's really the federal estate tax. Because we know that there's different types of tax, right? There's capital gains tax, there's ordinary income tax, there's
There's
state
tax
tax.
when you die too.
So there's all these different types of tax. Well, the federal estate tax exemption refers to the death tax, that as long as you're underneath that limit, then there will not tax that portion under that $14 million mark. But they're gonna potentially reduce that down to $5 million. So I know that $5 million still seems like a large number, but as you start to add things up, you know, your home, if you have a home that's paid off, that might be worth $1 million right there alone. And then all of your other assets, and your cars, and your bank accounts, and your
Right.
401ks and IRAs, and you throw everything in there.
It all adds up.
It adds up.
Now, I do want to talk about annuities a little bit.
Okay.
So annuities, some of them have a bad rap, right? I mean, what are your thoughts on them?
Well, I'm not proactive, or I should say, I'm not pro-annuity or, I guess, con against annuity. I do like annuities, and I do implement them into part of my practice. But there has to be a fit for an annuity. I think that there's really only a couple of reasons why you should have an annuity. If you're looking for some money in a safe place, that you don't want to take on any market risk, then you maybe want to consider an annuity for that purpose. And if you want to create your own self-made pension, remember earlier we were talking about that pensions have gone away?
Yeah.
Well, through an annuity or through this types of investment vehicles, you can create your own self-made pension that'll give you guaranteed income for the rest of your life. I'm a big advocate for guaranteed income because honestly, if someone, I get this question all the time, Michael, do I have enough money to retire comfortably? My answer is I don't know. I don't know what your spending habits are. I don't know what you're looking to accomplish. I don't know where you want to travel. I don't know what you want to do. I need to know a lot to give you an idea of whether or not I think you'll be.
So what does that
comfortable.
first conversation, look like? Because, you have to sit down and talk and find out, right, all about them.
Sure.
Right? So that you
Absolutely.
can find out how you can help them be able to live comfortably and retire and live comfortably for the rest of your life.
Well, yeah, so the conversation really is one-sided, I'll say. It's one-sided because I want to hear what you have to say, right? I'm just going to ask questions. I'm going to ask a lot of questions, detailed questions, because the more specific that you can be with me or the more detail that you can give me, then that gives me the information that I need to formulate a plan, because I think you need, not only do you need an investment plan, but you need a written retirement income plan. You need two things because I'll give you an example. We were talking about guaranteed income. That's truly the only way that you can never outlive your money. Think about this, Carol. If you said to me, Michael, I need $6,000 a month to live comfortably for the rest of my life, and I'd say, okay, does that also include your fund money? You're like, you know what, I didn't count that in. Let's put $7,000 a month, and I can be comfortable. And I'd say, okay, how much do you have for income, or what will you have for income in retirement? Now, I'm going to have Social Security, and I have a small pension. I'm like, okay, what does that add up to? That adds up to $5,000. Okay, so that means you have a gap of $2,000 there. Now you have a choice to make. Do you want to take it as a supplement from your retirement assets, meaning what if? Or do you want to create a guaranteed source of income? So if you fill that with another guaranteed source, you've got your $7,000 that comes in every month, and it doesn't matter what happens in the stock market. It doesn't matter what happens in world events or the economy. You have $7,000 a month for the rest of your life, so now you've guaranteed to never run out of money.
Wouldn't that be nice to know that, right? And you have to sit down and have that consultation with you. You do free consultations. His phone number direct is 602-325-8447. He's right here located in Phoenix, and you can also check him out on the website. It is reliant-gh.com. I want to ask about that because you help people, we only have a couple of minutes left, but helping them with when to take their, their Social Security, and also to kind of help them plan for that retirement, to what to do, when to do it.
Yes, absolutely. So, Social Security that's often brought up. When do I take it? It just comes down to mathematics, in my opinion. You've got to ask yourself, what's your life expectancy? According to the federal government, it may say that it's 82 years, right? What is your family history, though? Does most of your family live until their 90s or 95? You have to look at all of that.
People are living longer.
People are living longer, and so if it's where you feel that you have a shorter life expectancy, then my opinion would be to say, take Social Security as soon as you can. Because I don't know if people are aware of this, but Social Security is strained right now. It's uncomfortable right now because Social Security may need to restructure itself so that it can continue to stay solvent. If it somehow goes defunct, then that means that all of us are not going to have that benefit that we were counting on for all this time. So if you have the ability to take it sooner rather than later, and the mathematics, when you do the math on it and it makes sense, then that's what I would recommend.
Right, and again, it's different for every single person, and everybody does obviously have a different life expectancy, or however you say that. And what would be your final words for everybody today?
I guess, really I just want to let everybody know that there are people that you can come to that are just really going to sit down and talk with you, kind of just educate you, just give you a really good, comfortable feeling of where you're at with your retirement outlook. And if you don't have that already, then please just give us a call.
And make sure that you do talk to somebody who's a fiduciary. That also is very important because he makes sure that he's going to be looking out for you. You can call him direct. That number is 602-325-8447. It's reliant-gh.com. Did I do okay?
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, it was fine.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, my friend. Hold on one second.
Okay.
Let me just turn that off real quickly. This is that hard break, so we have a minute. I'm going to move you in just a minute. So thank you. Have a wonderful
Thank
weekend.
you. Appreciate it.
And I appreciate you very much. And I hope
sure
I
we'll be
see
in
you guys
touch.
soon. Yeah, I'll be talking to them and I don't know if I don't talk to you directly.
No, I think you normally deal with Jamie,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Thank you
Okay,
so
no,
much.
appreciate it.
Have a great
You guys
one.
have fun.
And a good holiday.
Yes.
And as well. I
Yes.
can't believe I'm even
Yes,
saying
be
it.
safe out there,
I'm
okay?
having a hard
Bye-bye
time
now.
saying it. I'll be right there for you. Hold on.
It's very informative.
And now that was a 30-minute segment, so that's a little different. They do 30s always. I'm gonna move everybody around, so I don't want anybody to do anything, okay? Okay, you can come with me, you can stand up. Okay, get over, you can go over in front of me. Thank you very much. Okay, now, I'm going to move this around a little bit.
Excuse me?
Which way should I go? This is gonna
Pause
be
this
two people
camera.
now.